having an oversight role, people who are going to lead this initiative, going to champion it, going to help build buy-in, or serve as triage, can be really helpful, because you can't really expect the thing to just kind of run on its own. So, their effort will be to get initial content created, or to do training to have that happen, to train the stewards and other data governance participants, reviewing some new steward content and see that people are writing good definitions or they're doing things well and help them be better at that. Serving as that acting or triage stewards when you need to fill in that role. This can be very powerful. I just kind of talked about that. When you don't have that either explicitly known or defined steward or role, or if you have that role and you know who that is, but they're not yet bought in or engaged in the process, the triage role can engage them on a real world problem. Hey, Joe has this question about this thing. Can you help him? They do that. They're more likely to get excited about doing that than they would be to say, hey, we want you to be a steward hypothetically for something that might happen and to do some work right now that no one may or may not ever use, right? So then if you have them help with that problem, then after that's done, you can say, hey, would you be willing to do this again next time? And then you could maybe even set up, depending on how you've got, what tools you use, a direct routing to them and not have to go through the steward, the triage role. The other thing that the oversight can do is to monitor requests and activities. So if you do have kind of automatic routing or other things and people are using this kind of request method and they're not getting responses, that can be a killer too. So you want to kind of monitor and make sure that activity is happening. Again, this is very similar to how you might be thinking about implementing the help desk for IT, right? Same type of problems you're trying to solve in methodology. The other thing that you might do is that the steward might do is deal with collisions or differing opinions. So you might have two people who are debating, or two departments or three departments that are debating about how we're defining a full-time employee. The recruiting people are defining it differently than the benefits people who are defining it differently than the payroll people or whatever. And you need to help resolve that. We have a whole separate best practices session on data definitions and resolving collisions and this concept of power of having different contexts for different definitions. I encourage you to look at that. Lastly, just being the champion, doing lunch and learns and promoting the idea and sharing goals and all that kind of stuff. So ongoing training to measure the success, to build metrics and maybe have websites and things to do.